The first ship disappeared at 3:17 Universal Time. No explosion. No distress call. No debris. One moment, the battleship Aegis Dawn was leading the alien fleet toward Earth's outer defense ring. And the next, it simply vanished. At first, the commanders thought it was a sensor failure. Then the second ship disappeared. Then the third. Panic spread across the command bridge of the alien flagship Carveth. Officers shouted over one another. Warning lights flashed red. Massive radar screens blinked with static as vessel after vessel vanished from existence. No weapon signature. No heat bloom. No enemy ships detected. Just gone. Supreme Commander Talcor stood frozen, his silver eyes locked on the tactical display. "What is happening?" he roared. No one answered, because no one knew. And then, a transmission came through every speaker on every ship in the fleet. A human voice. Calm, cold, unshaken. "We warned you not to cross the Aelio's boundary." The bridge fell silent. Talcor clenched his jaw. "Trace that signal," he barked. But before his officers could respond, the voice continued. "You were told this region was forbidden. You were told to turn back. You chose not to listen." Then the transmission ended, and another warship vanished. 3 days earlier, the skies above Earth had burned with silver fire. Thousands of alien warships had emerged from hyperspace beyond the moon, forming the largest invasion fleet humanity had ever seen. Cities across the planet froze in terror. Emergency sirens screamed through streets. Military satellites locked onto targets. Governments activated planetary defense systems. Humanity had prepared for war before, but never like this. The invading force belonged to the Varelian Dominion, a ruthless empire known across the galaxy for conquering worlds and erasing civilizations that resisted. They had never lost a war, and now they had come for Earth. Their message was simple. Surrender your planet. Submit to Dominion rule. Resist, and your species will be exterminated. Fear gripped the world, but humanity sent only one reply. A single transmission from Earth's United Command, delivered by Admiral Elias Ward. His face appeared across every alien screen. His voice was steady. "Leave now." The Varelians laughed. Talcor himself responded. "You are one primitive world. We command 10,000 ships. You are in no position to threaten us." Admiral Ward did not blink. "This is not a threat." He leaned closer to the camera and said the words that would soon haunt the entire fleet. "Do not cross the Aelio's boundary." Confusion spread among the alien commanders. Talcor narrowed his eyes. "What boundary?" Ward's expression hardened. "The region beyond Mars' orbit. Advance past it, and we will not save you." Then Earth cut the transmission. The Alien War Council erupted into laughter. Some thought it was a bluff. Others believed humans had hidden minds or secret weapons. Talcor believed it was fear disguised as confidence. "Humans are desperate," he told his officers. "They invent myths to hide weakness." So he gave the order. "Advance. Cross the Aelio's boundary. Take Earth." And now, his fleet was disappearing. "Commander," shouted one officer. Spatial distortion detected across Sector 4. A glowing ripple appeared in the darkness ahead. Space itself began to bend, twist, fold, like reality was tearing open. From within the distortion, something moved. At first it looked too large to comprehend. Then the scanners tried to calculate its mass, and failed. The thing emerging from the void was bigger than any ship ever built. Bigger than cities. Bigger than mountains. A black structure of impossible design slid silently into real space, covered in shifting metallic patterns that seemed alive. It had no visible engines. No weapons. No windows. Just endless dark metal stretching for kilometers. The crew stared in horror. One whisper passed across the bridge. "Impossible." Talcor stepped back. Even he felt fear now. The unknown vessel transmitted a signal. Again, the same human voice echoed through the bridge. "Final warning. Withdraw immediately." Talcor slammed his fist onto the console. No. His pride overpowered his fear. All ships opened fire. Thousands of alien cannons unleashed at once. Beams of plasma, antimatter missiles, railgun slugs. Enough firepower to shatter moons. The barrage struck the black vessel. And vanished. Absorbed. Without leaving a mark. Silence. Then, the giant ship moved. And the fleet began to die. The black vessel did not fire a weapon. It did not launch fighters. It did not raise shields. It did not even move like a normal ship. It simply drifted forward. And wherever its shadow passed, Varelian ships vanished. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Not broken apart. They were erased. Entire cruisers blinked out of existence as if reality itself had rejected them. Panic exploded across the invasion fleet. Retreat formation. Talcor shouted. But retreat was no longer simple. Because the stars had changed. Navigation officers stared at their screens in disbelief. Star maps twisted. Coordinates shifted. Entire sectors of known space no longer matched their records. One trembling officer turned toward Talcor. "Commander, space around us is folding." "What?" "It's impossible, but local space-time is being rewritten." Outside the flagship, the battlefield warped into madness. Distances stretched and collapsed without warning. Ships that were kilometers apart slammed into each other because space bent between them. Missiles looped backward and struck their launchers. Escape vectors led nowhere. The black vessel had turned the battlefield into a prison. Talcor gripped the command rail until his claws dug into the metal. "What is that thing?" No one answered. Because in the center of the bridge, a new transmission arrived. This time, not from Earth. From the black ship itself. The screen flickered. A face appeared. Human. Old. Stern. A man with silver hair and eyes that carried the weight of centuries. He wore no military uniform. No insignia. No badge of rank. Yet every person on the bridge felt authority in his presence. He spoke softly. "You were warned." Talcor snarled. "Who are you?" The man ignored the question. "Turn your fleet around. Leave this system. Forget Earth exists." Talcor forced himself to stand taller. "You dare threaten the Dominion? We rule over half the Orion arm." The old man's expression did not change. "And yet you crossed the line." He looked almost disappointed. "You mistake humanity's survival for weakness." Talcor's voice sharpened. "What are you?" For the first time, the man smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "We are what remains." The transmission cut, and 3 more warships vanished. Far below, on Earth, billions watched in stunned silence. Every government on the planet had access to live orbital feeds. Giant screens in military bunkers and city centers showed the impossible battle above Mars. Human civilians stared upward in confusion. Many had never known, never guessed, that humanity had something hidden beyond the stars. Inside Earth's United Command bunker beneath Geneva, foreign ministers and generals stood frozen around Admiral Elias Ward. One official whispered, "You never told us they would intervene." Ward kept his eyes on the screen. "Because they usually don't." Another leader turned toward him. "Who are they?" Ward hesitated, then answered with visible reluctance. "The Alios Directorate." The room fell silent. Most had never heard the name. A younger minister frowned. "That's impossible. The Directorate is a myth." Ward exhaled slowly. "No. It's classified." He looked at the battle feed. And now it doesn't matter anymore. 40 years earlier, humanity had discovered something in deep space. An ancient structure buried inside a dead moon beyond Neptune. At first, scientists believed it was alien. They were wrong. The technology inside was human. Or rather, descended from human design. The evidence made no sense. Materials centuries beyond current engineering. Data archives referencing future dates. Star charts of systems humanity had never reached. And one repeating warning engraved across every chamber. Do not open the Helios gate unless Earth falls. Governments debated for months. Then they opened it anyway. What they found changed everything. A wormhole. Stable. Artificial. Ancient. Leading beyond known space. Humanity sent an expedition through. Only one ship returned. Its crew carried impossible stories. Of human colonies hidden in the dark between galaxies. Of descendants of Earth who had vanished from history long ago. Of a faction that had left humanity behind. And evolved into something far greater. They called themselves the Helios Directorate. And they made one agreement with Earth. Simple. Absolute. We will never rule you. We will never save you from your own wars. We will never interfere in your politics. Then came the condition. But if an outside force attempts to conquer Earth. Ward remembered their exact words. Every leader on Earth did. Warn them once. If they refuse, step aside. Back in orbit. Talcor's fleet was collapsing. Thousands of ships fled in every direction. But there was no escape. The black vessel multiplied. 1 became 3. 3 became 10. 10 became hundreds. Ghost images? Drones? Reality echoes? No scanner could tell. Each phantom passed through the fleet like death itself. Entire squadrons disappeared. Talcor's breathing became ragged. This is impossible. His sensors officer cried out. Commander, hyperspace engines offline. We cannot jump. Talcor spun. Restore them. They're not damaged, sir. They simply won't engage. The realization struck him like ice. They had not been trapped physically. They had been trapped by something far worse. The laws of physics themselves no longer obeyed them. Then the stars went dark. Across every viewport. Light vanished. One by one. As if someone were extinguishing the universe. Crew members screamed. What is happening? Long-range scanners returned one final reading. The black vessel was no ship. It was a gate. And something much larger was coming through. Talcor stared into the darkness beyond the distortion. Then whispered the first honest words of his life. We should have listened. From the void, a colossal silhouette emerged. Larger than moons. Larger than fleets. A shape so vast the human mind struggled to process it. And Earth's hidden protectors had only sent scouts. The thing emerging from the gate was not a ship. At least, not in any way the Varelians understood. Its shape shifted as it entered real space. Too vast, too complex, too unnatural for the eye to follow. Angles bent where no angles should exist. Towers of black alloy rose from its surface like a moving city. Rings of pale light rotated around its core, each one larger than a continent. Talcor could only stare. His tactical display tried to classify it. Error. Object exceeds parameters. The bridge crew stood frozen in silence. Then one officer whispered, Commander, its mass equals a small moon. Another voice corrected him. No, larger. The colossal vessel drifted fully through the gate and stopped. It blocked out the stars. The smaller black ships that had destroyed the fleet now seemed tiny beside it. Mere escorts. Talcor felt something he had not felt since childhood. Fear without pride. Fear without anger. Pure, helpless fear. A transmission arrived. Not to his flagship. To every remaining Varelian ship. To Earth. To every military station, satellite, and listening post in the system. The same old human appeared on screen. But now his image stood against a massive chamber of steel and starlight. He spoke one sentence. The Directorate has assumed defensive authority. Then behind him, another figure entered the frame. And the room changed. Even through a screen, her presence felt heavy. She was human. But not entirely. Her eyes glowed faint gold. Strange silver markings ran beneath her skin like living circuitry. Her expression carried the calm of someone who had seen centuries pass. She looked directly into the camera. Directly at Talcor. Supreme Commander Talcor of the Varelian Dominion. His blood ran cold. She knew his name. You were given warning under interstellar law. You advanced with hostile intent. You rejected peaceful withdrawal. Her voice remained almost gentle. By authority of the Alios Directorate, your fleet is sentenced to removal. Talcor finally found his voice. You cannot destroy us all. The Dominion spans thousands of worlds. You will start a war beyond imagination. The woman's eyes narrowed. No. She leaned closer. You already did. Transmission ended. On Earth, global panic gave way to stunned disbelief. People flooded streets, staring upward. News networks abandoned normal broadcasts. Every channel on Earth replayed the same footage. The hidden fleet. The impossible ships. The humans who spoke like rulers of stars. Conspiracy theories exploded overnight. Had governments known? How long had this secret existed? Who were these people? Inside the underground command bunker, world leaders surrounded Admiral Ward. One demanded, "You kept this from every government on Earth." Ward's face hardened. Only a handful knew. Another leader shouted, "They have technology beyond comprehension. They've hidden for 40 years while we struggled through wars, famine, and collapse." Ward turned sharply. Because that was the agreement. He looked toward the screen. They do not interfere unless Earth faces extinction. A silence followed. Then one quiet question. Why? Ward hesitated. For the first time, uncertainty crossed his face. Because they no longer believe they belong to us. Back above Mars, the Directorate fleet advanced. No urgency, no rage, only inevitability. The moon-sized flagship unleashed its first attack. Not a beam. Not missiles. It released a pulse. A silent wave of white light expanded across space. Every Varelian ship it touched froze instantly. Engines dead. Weapons offline. Shields gone. Thousands of warships drifted helplessly. Talcor shouted at his crew. "Restore systems." Nothing responded. Then the escorts moved in. One by one, entire capital ships were carved apart by invisible forces. Some folded inward like crushed paper. Others split cleanly in half. Some simply imploded into spheres of glowing debris. The Varelian fleet was not fighting anymore. It was being erased. Talcor watched generations of military power vanish in minutes. Then alarms blared. "Commander, boarding signature detected." His eyes widened. Impossible. No shuttle had approached. No breach alarms had triggered. And yet, figures appeared in the center of the bridge. They materialized from thin air. Humans in black armor. Helmets smooth and featureless. Weapons glowing with pale blue energy. The crew opened fire instantly. Bolts struck the armored soldiers. And did nothing. The boarding team moved with terrifying precision. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. The bridge became silent. Every officer lay unconscious or dead. Talcor stood alone. One soldier stepped forward. Removed his helmet. A young man. Human. Calm. He looked at Talcor almost with pity. "You're coming with us." Talcor backed away. "I am Supreme Commander of the Dominion. You cannot." The soldier struck him once. Darkness. When Talcor awoke, he was no longer aboard his flagship. He sat restrained in a white chamber of seamless metal. No doors. No windows. Only light. Then a wall opened. The golden-eyed woman entered. She sat across from him. No guards. No visible weapon. That frightened him more than anything. She folded her hands. "My name is Director Seraphine." Talcor glared. "Kill me, then." She studied him. Death would be mercy. His bravado faltered. She touched the table. A hologram appeared between them. It showed stars, galaxies, and then war. Thousands of dead worlds, broken fleets, civilizations burning. Talcor stared. "What is this?" Seraphine answered softly. "The reason we left Earth." She expanded the image, and Talcor saw it. A shape in the darkness between galaxies. Gigantic. Ancient. Watching. His breath stopped. Seraphine's voice lowered. We did not hide from the galaxy, Commander. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. We hid the galaxy from what found us. Talcor stared at the hologram. The shape in the void was barely visible, only a shadow against the stars. But something about it made his skin crawl. His instincts screamed at him that this was not merely an enemy. It was something older, something wrong. He forced his voice to steady. What is that? Director Seraphine's answer came without hesitation. The silence. The name alone seemed to chill the air. Talcor frowned. You feel that? Seraphine met his gaze. Every advanced civilization eventually hears of them. Few survive long enough to understand what they are. She expanded the hologram. Entire star systems lit up in red. Thousands of them. All lost, she said. Consumed in the last 800 years. Talcor's throat tightened. No empire can destroy that many worlds. Seraphine's expression darkened. They are not an empire. The hologram shifted again. A planet appeared. Then another. Then another. Each world was thriving. Cities, fleets, orbital stations. Then black shapes descended from orbit. Within minutes, everything was gone. No explosions. No fire. No survivors. Only empty worlds left orbiting dead suns. Talcor whispered. They erase life. Seraphine nodded. Not conquer. Not enslave. Erase. Why? For the first time, she hesitated. We don't know. Silence filled the chamber. Then Seraphine deactivated the image. Centuries ago, humanity's first extrasolar colonies encountered signs of them in deep space. We understood immediately that ordinary civilization would not survive direct contact. She leaned forward. So we disappeared. Talcor frowned. You abandoned your own species. Her voice sharpened. We preserved it. She gestured toward Earth on the projection. By keeping humanity small, quiet, hidden. Talcor's eyes widened. The truth struck him. Earth was not weak. Earth was bait kept concealed. A primitive-looking world intentionally left unnoticed. Seraphine continued. Every species that rises too loudly draws their attention. Talcor whispered, and my fleet announced Earth's presence to half the sector. Her tone turned cold. That is why your punishment will be remembered. Across known space, the Varelian Dominion watched in horror. Every military relay, every government channel, every secure battlefield network, hijacked. The Alios Directorate had taken control of the Dominion's communications grid. Billions of Varelians saw the same image. Supreme Commander Talcor kneeling in chains. Alive. Defeated. Beside him stood Director Seraphine. Her golden eyes stared into the cameras. To the Varelian Dominion. Her voice echoed across worlds. Your invasion fleet has been neutralized. Shock spread through palaces and war rooms. No one had ever humiliated the Dominion like this. She continued. Hear this clearly. Earth is under Directorate protection. Any hostile force entering Sol System will be destroyed. Behind her, the camera widened. It showed the remains of the Varelian fleet. Thousands of shattered warships drifting in silence. The largest military force the Dominion had ever assembled. Broken in less than an hour. Then Seraphine delivered the final blow. You sought conquest. She looked down at Talcor. Instead, you have been taught restraint. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, fear began to spread. For the first time in centuries, the Varelian Dominion looked vulnerable, and every rival empire noticed. On Earth, the reaction was chaos. Crowds filled streets in celebration, confusion, and panic. The invasion was over. But now the greater mystery remained. Who exactly had saved them? Governments demanded answers. Inside the Geneva bunker, Admiral Ward stood before global leaders and finally revealed everything. The Alios Directorate. The hidden colonies. The wormhole beyond Neptune. The ancient warning. And the enemy called the silence. Some leaders refused to believe it. Others panicked immediately. One shouted, "You're saying our entire civilization has been intentionally suppressed to avoid detection?" Ward answered grimly, "Yes." Another asked, "How advanced are they?" Ward stared at the orbital feed. The moon-sized Directorate flagship still hung above Mars. His answer was quiet. "Far beyond us." Then every screen in the room flickered. Director Seraphine appeared live. The room fell silent. She spoke plainly. "Leaders of Earth, your species now knows the truth. No ceremony, no diplomacy, just truth. Your survival until now has depended on remaining insignificant." Her words landed like a hammer. That era has ended. A leader stepped forward. "What does that mean?" Seraphine answered, "The galaxy has seen Earth defended by us. They will investigate. They will fear you. Some will seek alliance. Others will seek revenge." She paused. "And if the silence learns humanity is no longer hidden?" No one breathed. "Then your world becomes the front line." 2 weeks later, the galaxy remained unnaturally quiet. No retaliation from the Dominion. No foreign fleets near Sol. But the Directorate was not celebrating. They were searching, listening, watching the dark between stars. Then it happened. A research outpost near the Perseus Reach went silent. No distress signal. No warning. Just disappearance. Then a mining colony vanished. Then an entire patrol group. Seraphine stood in the command chamber of the moon-sized flagship, staring at incoming reports. An officer approached. "Director." She already knew. "They've found us." Earth skies lit with emergency alarms. Not from invasion. From departure. The Alios Directorate fleet began mobilizing in full. Hundreds of hidden warships emerged from cloaked positions across the solar system. Massive gates opened near Jupiter. Shipyards long concealed in the outer dark powered to life. Humanity watched in awe as their secret guardians prepared for war. Admiral Ward received one final transmission from Seraphine. Her expression was calm, but tired. Earth must decide now what it wishes to become. Ward frowned. "What are you asking?" "Hide again, and survive a little longer." She stepped closer. "Or rise with us." Behind her, the stars darkened. Something vast moved beyond the edge of sensor range. The silence had arrived. Seraphine's final words echoed through the command room. "Tell your people the truth." The transmission cut. And across the void, the first enemy ships emerged from darkness. Shapes like shattered nightmares. Living shadows wrapped in black fire. The ancient war had found Earth. And humanity's future would be written in the stars. Or erased with the rest of them.